Welcome back. One final point before we go tonight. Senate Republicans released their so-called Obamacare repeal bill today. Finally, the bill is, shall we say, a bit disappointing. Here's the thing. Obamacare doesn't work. It's a disaster. We the people elected President Trump to repeal Obamacare. Remember those campaign rallies? It's a disaster, he said. Well, fix it. Repeal it. Congressional Republicans, you have a mandate. Don't back down. The polls are wrong. You weren't sent to Washington to make your decisions based on biased polls promoted by mainstream media outlets, sponsored by progressive politicos who want you to believe everybody hates you, so you change your opinion and they get their way. Remember what happened in Georgia's 6th district on Tuesday? The Democrats have already forgotten. The last I heard, they're already blaming their loss on implicit racism. The mainstream media is moving past Georgia's 6 stories, too, as quickly as they extinguished their coverage on the shooting of Congressman Steve Scalise and the would-be assassin who targeted Scalise and 6 others because they are Republicans. Yep, no headlines for Karen Handels' victory 2 days after the most expensive congressional race in history. But you can bet your bucks this whole week would have been a shrine to the Wonder Boy Ossoff if Ossoff had managed to win instead of getting his Oss handed to him. My message for Senate Republicans is simple. All the reasons for not supporting full repeal of Obamacare and replacing it with a free market, people-centric solution are not good enough. What did we just learn from Georgia 6? President Trump's agenda is not a drag on your political viability. Polls are wrong. So stop basing your policy choices on falsified public opinion. You know Obamacare is a disaster. Repeal it already. Why Republicans in Congress aren't constantly harping on the numbers, I have no idea. Premiums under Obamacare have skyrocketed, an average of 25% across the country. In Arizona, premiums have gone up 116% under the Affordable Care Act. 30 million Americans lost their health care plans under Obamacare. 29 million more Americans are still not covered, even though Obamacare was supposed to provide universal coverage. 24 million Americans are not going to lose their health insurance if we repeal Obamacare. The CBO is wrong. They were way off on their predictions of how many people would get covered under Obamacare. They predicted 21 million. The actual number from the Department of Health and Human Services, 10.4 million. And don't just take my word for it. Look up those numbers for yourself. Do you know how much that hurts everyday American families? Those of us, who are not exempt from Obamacare dictates the way our representatives in Congress are. When I say our deductibles are too high to reach and we're paying out of pocket, what I mean is we aren't able to build up savings or an emergency fund. We have to get part-time jobs on top of full-time jobs to supplement our income. We can't take vacations. We're borrowing money and going into debt. And on top of that, we can't afford the medical care we need. What is so difficult about repealing that? Senate Republicans, I'm waiting on your answer. And that's my final point. You can reach me on Twitter at Liz_Wheeler. If you liked the show, please send me an email at oann.com/contact. In the meantime, catch us here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, and until then, have a good night.